Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be playing with one stamp set, 3 ways to create 3 cards. This is the bubbled over stamp and die set from Spellbinders, and let's jump in to card number 1 straight away. So I am going to take the soda can in this stamp set, which just stole my heart when I saw it. I thought it was so fun. I'm going to stamp that on 6 different colors of cardstock from my stash with Versamark ink. It's a clear, sticky ink that allows me to emboss. So when I emboss, I have this sticky stamped image that's going to allow me to pour powder over it. That embossing powder is going to stick to the ink, and then I can melt that powder. It's going to be raised up and shiny. The powder I'm using today is white, so it's really going to pop off of these bright colors. And I just thought this color collection was, bright and cheery and really fun for this card. So there's all 6 of them stamped and ready to go. Now, what I think is super cool is this die has a little extra-ness to it where it cuts a slit that you can stick the straw into. These are the things that make me happy. I love it. So now let's stamp out the straw. I'm going to just do black ink on white paper, typical stamping, and I'm using an acrylic block, which I haven't done in a long time. This is Versamark Onyx black ink. It is one that takes a little bit more time to dry, so I did heat set that before die cutting them and then sticking them into the soda cans. I think this is so cute and it makes me so happy. So we're going to stick these onto a slimline card, and for my background I'm going to use this embossing folder right here. It was the embossing folder of the month for April. If you didn't know, Spellbinders has club kits you can order and have delivered to your house every month, like this embossing folder of the month. So not very much of this background is going to show. So I am going to splatter this, and I'm going to kind of go heavy-handed with the splatter because, like I said, so much of the soda cans are going to cover up this background that I want to make sure some of this splatter actually is going to show up. So this little collection of shimmery paints is from LH Colors. It is a friend of mine who started her own watercolor shop on Etsy. I'm going to link it for you below. If you like to support small businesses and fellow crafters, you got to check out her Etsy shop. Okay, now I laid out my soda cans how I wanted them. I'm just going to pick up a few at a time and glue them together. And then I will have them kind of arranged across this slimline panel how I want. Now the panel is actually 8.5 by 3.5. And then I'm going to mount this onto a larger piece than that, just 1/4 of an inch larger. And that's still going to fit into a slimline envelope, like a business size envelope that you can buy at, Walmart, the office supply store, wherever. So I stuck those on with some foam squares to really give them some dimension or pop. And then for my sentiment, this is also from the same stamp set, happy birthday, and really nice bold letters. I stamped it on black cardstock with that same Versamark ink and embossing it with the white powder. I'm going to glue this so it looks like it's kind of holding down all those cans, and then I put foam squares on the edges so it would be the same height as the cans. I brought out a I think already retired alphabet set from Spellbinders. This was also a large die of the month club kit. I die cut it from some white glitter cardstock, and I cut an additional set of letters from some heavyweight cardstock just to really give this some lift, some pop. It's an overuse of the pun, I know. All right, so now I'm adding some baubles. These are clear, I think they're called Bubbled Up. I'm not exactly sure. They're from Trinity Stamps. I will link them for you below. I thought they were like the perfect little addition to this card, and they look super cute on there. The color of the cardstock behind it shines through, and it just is like that perfect finishing touch. Okay, so here's my card base. It is 8 3/4 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4, which is going to give me that border all the way around, and it will still fit into a business size envelope. Okay, so I'm stamping a sentiment on the inside. You are the coolest. And then there's other stamps in this set, like these little bubbles. I'm going to randomly stamp them across the top and just kind of add a little something fun to the inside. So, there's visual interest there as well. I'm just going to stamp the soda can in the same green color as the bubbles. Just, it kind of frames maybe what you're going to write on the inside. I know this is a little off screen. Sorry about that. And here is the finished card, at least card number 1. I have 2 more ideas for you with this stamp set. So let's move on to card number 2, which is a full panel shaker card. This time I stamped the soda can with Versamark ink and embossed it with silver powder because, the soda cans are silver, and I'm kind of going for like a Coca-Cola vibe on this card. I am stamping a sentiment right onto the can. Yes, I know, I totally stamped it off center. I didn't know this right here at the time, but I decided, you know what, it's handmade. I'm not going to redo it. It'll be all right. And I'm going to say the same thing to you. If something's not quite straight, it's a little off, it's okay. It's handmade. It'll be all right. All right, for the straw on this card, I am going to use some red ink. I believe this is lobster ink from Lawn Fawn. I die cut that out, stuck it into my little can. It's looking so cute with such good Coca-Cola vibes. I mounted a die cut can to the back of this from some heavyweight white cardstock to make it a little thicker. And then I brought in this diagonal stripe background stamp, also from Spellbinders, and I'm going to stamp that with some really light gray ink. I believe this is limestone from Alt New, and they're pretty bold lines, and this is the first time I've ever stamped it, so I like to wipe it off with a cloth before I do, but still I am going to repeat stamp this because it's new and just to get really solid lines. And I think I actually went over it 3 times. Yeah, I stamped it 3 times. Thank you to the Misty that allows me to do this. It is an amazing tool and I quite love it. So there's my little background. Now this is a full panel, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's going to fit into these shaker covers from Waffle Flower perfectly. So that means I'm going to have a really wide border on either side of my stamped background. So I'm going to add this die cut that I did with 2 rectangle dies from some silver cardstock. Look at the pattern in that. It kind of looks like a soda can, right? Okay, so now you're going to lay this face down into this clear shaker cover. You're going to peel back the backing on 3 sides and fold it over and stick it to your card panel. Just on 3 sides. That's going to allow you to have one part still open, and then you can add in your shaker elements. Right? I'm using these tiny little Coke cans from Trinity Stamps. They're clay. They're very thin, very lightweight. They make the perfect shaker element, and some more baubles. These are just white with kind of an iridescent finish, kind of like a can, I thought. And then next you're going to do the final flap. Peel it off, fold it back, and you have it all sealed up. And this is the entire front of your A2 size card, full panel shaker. I glued down my Coke can right to the front. I'm going to let that dry while I stamp another sentiment that says thank you on to some white cardstock with that same lobster ink. Now I'm going to stick this down to the front of my card with some double stick tape, and that's going to go right below the can, and it is going really well, I think, with my other sentiment that says your kindness is refreshing. All right, it is time to stick this down onto a card base. So an A2 size card is a piece of cardstock that's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So I did some double stick tape and some liquid glue because this is quite a heavy and half plastic, half cardstock background. On the inside of this card, I am gluing down a few of those little cans, so it kind of looks like my shaker elements kind of spilled out into the inside of the card. On the outside, I'm adding a few more of those little baubles, just gluing them into place in and around the can, so there's always some of those showing face up because some of those turned face down inside the shaker and they just look white. So I wanted some silver iridescent showing. So these shaker cards are not very loud, and also I put clay elements inside that are not very loud, but I thought you'd want to hear the shaker. All right, let's move on to card number 3. I'm going crazy on this one. This is some Dawn dish soap, and I'm going to blow some bubbles and make my own bubble background. This is liquid watercolor. It's a product that Spellbinders used to carry. They might have a few colors left in their clearance, but you can use any like dye-based ink refill or liquid watercolor, maybe even like your distress ink refills. Just play around with it to color it. And the color of the soap, the blue color of the soap, did not interfere with the colors I chose to do bubbles. So you want to mix this up really good, put a straw in it and blow the bubbles. And then you're going to take your cardstock, press down on the bubbles, and the paper picks it up. It's so fun. I have done this a really long time ago and probably with kids when I used to teach preschool, but it is such a fun background. So I'm going to do 3 colors and I'm going to kind of do like sections, a purple section, an orange section, and a pink section. So you can see here what the purple looks like. And then I'll do the same with the orange. You can see it's already done there on the side. The orange I had was kind of a pastel orange. I didn't quite love it, but I'm just going to leave it. It's fine. And then the pink, oh, it came out the best, I feel. Maybe like practice makes perfect. I don't know, but I really loved it. And I would totally do this again because I love making my own background. So this just brought me so much joy. All right, in the stamp set, there's this kind of like burst stamp, like the bubbles have popped. So I'm going to stamp this in and around. And again, a lot of this background is going to be covered by those cans and sentiments and stuff. So you could always do a little bit more like bubbles or splatter on your background than you think if you're going to be covering up a lot of it. I did get a little fingerprint on mine. It was very sad, but I'm going to cover that up with one of the cans, which now I'm embossing with some Distress Oxide ink and some clear powder. This was maybe it was Worn lipstick. I totally don't remember the color, but I am doing colored ink and clear powder on colored cardstock, which gives me just a really fun and different look. So this is Ripe Persimmons ink on some lighter orange cardstock, and it's going to show up. I wanted the colored ink to just be a shade or 2 darker than my cardstock, so I feel like this one does a great job of that. I have Wilted Violet here that I'm going to stamp for my purple onto this kind of lavender cardstock here, and I think they turned out fabulous. I love the look. It's kind of a little Andy Warhol-ish to me. All right, so now I am stamping the straws. I'm going with a coordinating color for the can. So Ruby Red is going to be just a shade darker, I feel, for my pink can, and then the Autumn Breeze and Ultraviolet, I believe, are the colors. So as I was doing this, I thought, what if I colored the straws in instead of leaving them white? So I just took the stamp pad, smashed it down onto my glass mat, took my water brush pen, picked up some of that color, and kind of watercolored in the straws. And I thought that was a really fun look and another way that you can do the straws. Now, there is a die in the die set that coordinates with this that will die cut out a straw, and you don't have to stamp, and it looks just like that. So you can also do that option. I just wanted to show you that because I didn't use it on my cards today. But there's the cans all ready to go. Now they need a label. So this card is inspired by the soda Crush. And I don't know if you know this, but there are a ton of colors of Crush soda. So I'm doing 3, I guess flavors is the right word. 3 flavors of crushed soda. I found this little label stamp from a stamp set I already have from Spellbinders. It was the perfect size to die cut this out and make it look like a little label. So you just gotta sometimes like go through your stash and find something cool from another set that you could use. So I'm gluing this down to my A7 size card, which is 7 inches by 10 inches scored at 5 inches, and that's an A7 size card. So I'm just kind of arranging how I want these cans to go, making sure I cover up my purple fingerprint that I accidentally smeared onto there, and I stuck them down with foam squares again. Now it's time to add my sentiment, which is I love you. I love that this stamp set has those 3 bold sentiments that kind of go with the labels or like fun punny sentiments. So I'm going to glue that down and trim off the ends, and then it's time for embellishment. So I have this cool die set that die cuts out like fruits and things and is made to go with a pie set, which I did do a video with these before. So I'm going to have the dies linked for you, and then you can check out the video linked for you as well if you want to see the video I made with some pies as a shaker card. It's really cool. All right, so I have strawberries, I have oranges, and I have grapes. I think actually the grapes were meant to be blueberries, but it doubles as grapes as well. And now you know. And I think that really added that like extra element of interest to this card that it needed. Like it really makes it a little bit more special having those die cut fruits on there. At least I think so. So that's card number 3. Oh, I did embellish. Yes, I did, with some colored rhinestones from Trinity Stamps. They have really good embellishments there that you can use with any of your stamping products. Spellbinders also is coming out with some sequins that are really gorgeous. So check them out for embellishments as well. Okay, so 3 around each of my cans that kind of match, the colors match the background really nicely, and they have a little bit of an iridescent shine to them and kind of add to that bubbly background. So there is my 3rd card. So I did 3 cards, 3 different techniques, 3 different sizes. Like this is a really fun and versatile set. At least I think so. And I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Maybe you got some ideas and inspiration for card making with stuff that you already own. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have ... from Carrie's video, I have them linked for you below, so you can check that out. And I have to say thank you so much for your support in watching my videos, subscribing, liking, chatting with me in the comments, and clicking on my links. It means so much to me. I enjoy sharing my creations with you so much and connecting with each of you. So thanks for stopping by and happy stamping. I will see you all again very soon on the next video. Bye.